The bucket was never the cage. A man once watched an old fisherman working beside a bucket filled with live crabs. There was no lid, no cover, nothing stopping escape. Any one of them could have climbed out at any moment. Puzzled, the man asked why the fisherman wasn't concerned. The fisherman replied calmly, "If there were only one crab, he'd be gone instantly. But when there are many, no lid is needed. Every time one starts to climb toward freedom, the others pull him back down. There are no bars, no chains, no guards, only captives enforcing captivity on one another. This is how power truly operates. Power rarely relies on force, walls, or open domination. Its most effective form works through social pressure and the fear of loss. It teaches people to fear being left behind, being exposed, being the one who didn't escape. Once that fear is installed, the system no longer needs overseers. People police themselves. That is why resistance appears the moment you begin to rise. When you step off the safe path. When you leave what is quietly destroying you. When you stop agreeing just to belong. When you question a story that benefits others more than it benefits you. When you choose sovereignty over approval. In that moment, hands reach for you. Sometimes harshly, sometimes gently, often disguised as concern. They will call it realism, gratitude, humility, safety. They will ask who you think you are. They will warn you not to rock the boat. This is not care. It is containment. Those who understand power recognize this pattern immediately. Builders, strategists, leaders. Anyone who refuses to remain small knows the rule. Advancement creates enemies even when you have done nothing wrong. Not because you are immoral, but because your movement forces others to confront their own stagnation. Your progress becomes an accusation. Your growth a threat. We have seen this dynamic play out at scale. Fear rebranded as virtue. Compliance marketed as morality. Obedience rewarded as intelligence. Questioning framed as danger. No chains were necessary. No prisons constructed. Only enough fearful people willing to enforce order on each other. That was not leadership. That was insecurity delegated as power. This pattern exists everywhere. Families, friendships, institutions, relationships. The moment you stop trauma bonding, stop shrinking to keep the peace, and choose mastery over comfort, you become a mirror. And mirrors are unbearable to those who abandoned the climb long ago. They do not pull you down because you are cruel. They pull you down because you remind them of what they refuse to become. The most effective prison has no bars. It relies on social penalties instead. Mockery, shame, moral language, feigned concern. Any system that cannot tolerate sovereignty trains its inmates to monitor one another. Once that training is complete, control runs on autopilot. Understand this without sentimentality. The crabs are not evil. They are conditioned. And conditioned people do not need to be fought. They need to be outpaced. It is not your responsibility to convince them. It is not your responsibility to save them. It is not your responsibility to remain accessible to their fear. Your responsibility is singular and strategic. Keep climbing, quietly, relentlessly, without explanation. The bucket only works until someone escapes. Once one does, the illusion weakens. Some will attack you. Some will mock you. Some will reach harder. And a few, the most dangerous few, will finally look up and notice the sky. Freedom always costs you the comfort of staying where others chose to settle. But it gives you something far more valuable in return. Autonomy.